Hi, I'm Korry Franke, author of 3 Feet to the Left, A New Captain's Journey from Pursuit to Perspective. And today I'm here aboard the magnificent Celebrity Equinox.
It's a nice little treat, actually. He's going to do a Beyond the Podium talk today. And he's here, even on the TV show, ladies and gentlemen, none other than Captain Korry Franke.
Hey, Captain.
Hello, sir.
Hey, it's
Come and join us.
Thank you so much. Come on, let's go see how it went. Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody? I pushed the throttles forward, and the engine started to wind up, and we started to roll a little faster, faster and faster and faster. My eyes darted from the engine, or from the runway back to the engines, to the runway back to the engines, faster and faster and faster and faster, until finally the first officer said, "V1, rotate." And I pulled back, and the nose of the jet started to lift up past the tree line, and suddenly I heard a little click. And that little click indicated that our main gear had come off the runway. We were flying, and I was the captain. And that's when it hit me that I was the captain, responsible for 121 people in a $100 million jet. And they were counting on me to get it right. Realize, and maybe you have realized this in your own lives, is that there's a big difference between being designated a captain and being deserving of captaincy. There's a big difference between being designated a leader and being deserving of leadership. But if I were to boil down all of the lessons that I learned through that first year, and there were many, it was that you have to embrace your captain's mindset, and if you do, you're going to build better relationships, you're going to lead more effectively, and you're going to operate more efficiently. And to me, it really comes down to 3 things. Who has some ideas about what a captain is? Yes, sir, in the back.
The person that is ultimately responsible to make it happen.
That's an outstanding answer. And what are some differences that you notice? And I'll be the first to admit that several people have commented that I put on a few pounds between the two, which was very nice. Probably even on this week, I might add. Where are we going? That's there you go, book number 1.
Thank you.
Where are we going? If we don't know where we're going, how are we supposed to know the number 2 question?
Gotta follow.
We need to know our destination, and then we work back. We plot a course, and we work all the way back to where we are, so we know how the steps that are needed for us to get there. But I think there's even a more important question that we have to ask, and that's who's going with us? Who's on our team? One day, this first officer I was flying with, they came back with me and stayed there for the briefing. And at the end of the briefing, I said, "Thank you so much for coming back. It's great to have faces with names and make sure everybody's on the same page." He said, "Oh, I love the pre-flight briefing." I said, "What? You love the pre-flight briefing? I've never heard this before." He said, "Well, actually, what I love is the first 5 seconds after the captain finishes, and he turns around and he walks away, and I like to look at all the flight attendants to see if they roll their eyes, if they do anything." Because they don't always tell the leader the truth, right? They might, or they may not give them the full truth. How many of you have experienced this in your own lives, right? That it's hard to get good feedback. And so you can always rely on that positional authority. But if you don't do if you don't do your best to build the relational authority, then you can potentially be sunk before you even begin. And for that, I need to be thinking ahead. I need to be not taking the bait. And my question for you is, how many times in your lives or in your businesses do you fall for the red herrings in your line of work? The flashy light, the thing that everybody wants the attention on. But if you focus on that, you miss the bigger picture. To me, so much of leadership has to do with how are we going to ask these questions? How are we going to engage the teams that we are with so that we don't lose them, so that we don't build walls between them? But my takeaway is always manage the downside risk. That's my business more than anything else, is managing the downside risk. You step aboard our planes, you're entrusting your lives with me, and trust me, that does not go unnoticed. If you've made mistakes, they're not insurmountable. If you've been a star performer, that does not mean you're infallible. It's what you do next that matters most of all. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some reading to do.